Hello, everyone. I'm Kevin Frazier, and this is EA Sports Game Changer.
Today, big words from a big star. NFL linebacker Justin Tuck takes us on a mission. Find out what he's telling these fans about life off the field. And can you recognize these players? Find out why these two soccer stars are all wired up and having a blast. Then, what does the word tough really mean? The answer may be different than you think. Jay Bilas and what it takes to be tough on and off the field. And it's one of the most competitive jobs in sports. We're in the water with the best surf photographers on earth, risking it all for the ultimate shot. Game Changers starts now.
Welcome to EA Sports Game Changers. I'm Kevin Frazier. Justin Tuck spent his first 9 seasons in the NFL with the New York Giants, winning 2 Super Bowls along the way. On the field, this Notre Dame grad is impossible to ignore. Off the field, he's just as impressive. Game Changer spent the day with this defensive force in New York City. Justin Tuck has one thing on his mind on Sundays: sack the quarterback. But for this defensive end, each sack means more than another stat. Each sack means more books.
I want to have more of an impact off the field than I do on it.
He's doing that through his charity, Tuck's Rush for Literacy, which gives reading material to needy students.
You know, we didn't have a lot growing up, but my father always instilled in us that whatever we had extra, that we tried to give to those who was less fortunate than we were.
Each time he sacks the quarterback, Tuck and sponsors make a contribution, and that's just one of the ways he's raising funds.
But first of all, guys, thank you for coming out and making the 4th annual Tuck Celebrity Billion Tournament a huge success.
Events like this have helped him raise more than $1.5 million and donate more than 55,000 books to children around New York.
Good luck with you, man.
Earlier this year, Justin Tuck signed with the Oakland Raiders. Even though Justin's not playing in New York, he still is thinking about the kids of the city.
You know, I dealt with the lack of, funds in the educational realm, but I also understand that, the lack of role models, because, a lot of the kids that we have in our program, come from a broken home or, have violence around them or drug use around them, especially the young men in our group.
Which is why Tuck has taken it upon himself to be their role model. The 2-time Super Bowl champ believes in his cause so much, he's even written a children's book called Home Field Advantage.
So without further ado, please help me welcome Justin Tuck.
It's an honor for me to be here, guys. Today is just, our kickoff. We'll hand out books and, I get up there and give them a pep talk. Just try to, light a fire under them. I grew up in a small town. We had a lot of athletes. I made it out because I took my education very seriously. I made A's and B's. They see the football players or their role models out there, and they're like, oh, well, he doesn't need to read. You're a football player. What does reading have to do with you? And one day I brought in my playbook. That's my playbook. It's about that thick. It's about that long. It has about 400 pages in it. If I couldn't read, could I play? Every year we put on an essay contest to, promote the fact that reading is essential and it can be fun too. The winner of our essay contest will get the opportunity to join me and the entire New York Giant football team. They get the opportunity to sit on the field with us before a game and have great seats and come to the locker room after the game.
And this is the kind of thing that can give you an idea, give you a spark that is going to change the direction of your entire life.
New York Times bestselling author Gordon Corman also surprised the kids to help Tuck hand out some of his books.
I'm looking forward to reading the books because it seems like they're going to be interesting.
I didn't know he was a big fan of reading, and that really turned me on because, I love to read.
You know, it's amazing when you get, you know, testimonials from parents saying that, you know, their kid, before they heard that Justin Tuck said books are cool, that they wouldn't even, you know, they wouldn't dare pick up a book in their leisure. Now these kids are reading, you know, 30 books in a semester. And, you know, this program is, you know, one of the ways that, you know, I hope to, you know, leave a legacy around, you know, what I was taught and what I am as a man.
For more NFL content, visit NFLRush.com.
Coming up, the high-tech soccer session. 2 stars like you've never seen them before. And they battle 50-foot waves with just a camera. Find out what it takes to work on a wall of water.
Welcome back. You know, when it comes to soccer celebrations, you never know what to expect after a goal is scored. MLS superstar and national team defender Omar Gonzalez invited game changers to get an inside look at what it takes to perfect a post-goal celebration. Take a look. Fans everywhere are fired up for the biggest sporting event on the planet, the 2014 World Cup. And 2 American players are already getting in on the action. This is the Capture Lab at EA Studios in Vancouver, Canada.
All the red lights are cameras?
Yeah.
So there's 130 cameras.
A place where high-tech science and superstar athletes come together. Eddie Johnson and Omar Gonzalez will be suiting up for Team USA in Brazil, but today they're suiting up for a motion capture session for EA's FIFA 2014 video game.
Oh, I'm excited. This is my first time, so I'm looking forward to the experience and the outcome.
Motion capture at EA involves recording the actual athletic movements of real players in order to make the video game more realistic.
So the first step of a motion capture shoot is to get the guys suited up into the spandex suits, get them markered up with the reflective balls, just so that the cameras all around us, they can pick up the reflections and put it back into the cameras, and then that's how we generate the 3-dimensional movement.
The players will be recorded while they go through their normal activity on the soccer pitch, everything from their warm-up, sprints, to goal-scoring kicks.
We really try to pump them up and get them excited so that they can perform as naturally as possible.
And even their celebrations. Omar is a 6'5" defensive star who plays for the LA Galaxy when he's not representing Team USA. He's done a motion capture session before and is always amazed by the technology.
To see myself in real time animation was an incredible feeling. It was kind of weird to see yourself, you know, you're doing moves and then the guy on the screen is doing moves. I guess the guy is me, so, you know, it was just really, really cool to see.
And action.
Eddie is a goal-scoring forward for Team USA and DC United. He's anxious to put some of his signature moves into his video game character.
I like to take guys on. I like to do step-overs. You know, I'm very good in the air. We went through all of those movements and stuff today, and so hopefully when the game comes out, I'll be happy with, you know, the things that we did today.
Once all the takes have been recorded, they'll be handed over to another technician to be incorporated into the video game.
The next step is to put it onto our in-game skeleton, which means solving the motion onto that. Then we bring it into the game and chop it up into little bits and pieces so that we can just get the things that we want into the game.
And rolling.
Motion capture technology first started in the 70s, and the sophisticated technology of today is used by everyone from NASA scientists to Hollywood movie studios. And for EA, doing motion capture with top athletes is an absolute must.
So by using players like Omar Gonzalez and Eddie Johnson, guys who are very athletic, who know what they're doing, they're at the top of their game, going to the World Cup, these are the best of the best. Getting motion from those kind of players into the game makes it so much more authentic and realistic to look at.
With all the added attention of the World Cup this year, players like Omar are excited that gamers will see their real moves.
I grew up playing this game all my life, playing against friends, and just to be a part of this is incredible because I know worldwide so many people play this game, and it's just an honor to be here.
Coming up, Jay Bilas gets tough. Words you will want to hear is success is what you want. And the waves are incredible. Meet the fascinating photographers who can capture these spectacular images.
The word tough is a word every player in every sport has heard many times. But what is tough? What does it mean? Basketball analyst Jay Bilas searched for the definition of toughness, what it means in sports, and also what it means in life. And you might be surprised at what he discovered.
Tough. It's a word you hear constantly in sports.
You had to be tough. I think that's where I learned to be tough as a person and as a basketball player.
Yet even the dictionary has a hard time defining what tough, or its noun version, toughness, really means.
The battle is tough.
It's going to be really tough.
It's tough at times.
So what are these great coaches and players talking about? What is so special about these 5 letters? T-O-U-G-H. Well, one thing is certain, toughness is something every athlete and every coach is looking for. Basketball guru Jay Bilas searched for the real meaning of toughness in his best-selling book, Toughness.
Nice to see you. How's everything?
I sat down with Bilas at the EA Sports Maui Invitational, one of the more than 40 stops he'll make as an ESPN college basketball analyst.
How do you define toughness?
Well, toughness to me is an intangible. It's the ability to persevere through adversity.
The 6'8" Bilas faced little adversity early on. He was a prized high school player recruited by Duke. But he soon found out he had a lot to learn.
I was a heck of an excuse maker. It was always, always somebody else's fault.
But in his 4 years as a starter at Duke, Bilas learned to be more team-oriented. It's just one of the lessons in toughness he learned from Duke's legendary Coach K, Mike Krzyzewski.
I think with Coach K playing for him, what I took is that there's a standard, that it's not just the scoreboard or the final score. And there were times when we won, and he was more upset than at times when we had lost.
Bilas went on to a short professional career and then returned to be a Duke assistant for Coach K, winning NCAA championships in '91 and in '92.
And he basically said, if you want to play in championship games, you have to treat every game like a championship game. That way, when you do get to a championship game, you'll know how to behave.
Bilas's book goes beyond basketball. He talked to other athletes, NASA engineers, and even soccer moms to find out how toughness applies to all walks of life.
I think golfers call it staying in the moment, staying in the present. Well, what does that really mean? It means concentrate. Concentrate on what you're doing now. And if you can do that, I think that's where toughness comes from.
One big takeaway from the book, toughness isn't about physical intimidation or bullying. It's much more mental than physical, and doesn't happen overnight.
Well, I think most players, most athletes learn what toughness is. It's a process. They learn it by osmosis.
As one of TV's top analysts, a practicing lawyer, and now a best-selling author, Bilas's life has been defined by success. But he says some of the greatest lessons in toughness come from failures.
You either do or don't. You either get it done or you don't. And it's okay to admit it and make sure that you take the steps to ensure that that kind of thing doesn't happen again. That's what the tough people do. They really self-evaluate. They prepare, they concentrate on what's in front of them, and they move on to the next thing.
Coming up, We're in the water with the best surf photographers on Earth, risking it all for the ultimate shot.
Welcome back. This next story is a special look into one of the most exciting and dangerous jobs in all of sports. I'm talking about surf photographers. To capture a special shot, these guys battle 50-foot waves, sharks, and then there's each other.
The life of a professional surfer is a tough one to beat. Getting paid to hang out with your friends on the world's most beautiful beaches, doing what you love to do seems like a dream. But behind the laid-back images, surfing is a billion-dollar business, selling boards, clothing, and magazines. And to sell the surfing lifestyle, you need surf photography.
There's definitely a great relationship between the surfer and the photographer, which you need.
Nobody knows more about surf photography than Derek Hoffman. I met up with the legendary cameraman on the North Shore of Oahu to talk about his documentary film, which tells the difficult and dangerous stories behind surf photographers.
Most surf films are basically all about the surfers, which is, of course, you couldn't have surf photography without the surfers. However, we turned the lens kind of like on the camera guy, so to speak, and like, let's see what they're about.
They're not really looking to get a beautiful palm tree or a beautiful flower or like a dancing girl. They're looking to get a big, thick, ugly, gnarly wave with their rider on it and everyone going, ooh.
To capture that athlete with that product on that wave at a certain moment, when everything comes together, you know, that's what's going to catch somebody walking through the mall, or they're going to walk down the street, and they're going to look on the side of a building, or they're going to look inside of a shop, and they're going to see that image.
It's a hard job of being a photographer. There's just hundreds of photographers on the beach, and I don't know how they're all able to make a living.
Surf photography in general is a pretty basic thing you can do if you can stand on the beach and shoot someone surfing. What I enjoy more is water photography, which enables you to get out into the lineup with the person, got a more one-on-one experience, and it also tests your skill set as to how you can best position yourself and align yourself to get that epic shot.
That epic shot may be worth $1,000 if it makes a magazine cover, but it's extremely competitive, and most of the photos taken by these guys will earn them less than $100.
And the person who's surfing has to surf for the camera. It's definitely about cooperation. There's definitely a certain amount of trust involved in doing really up-close maneuvers. I mean, I was out there shooting this great surfer, but boy, he got close.
Surfing is one of the few sports where photographers can be right in the middle of the action. And these guys may have to tread water for hours, all while holding a camera in one hand.
Surf photography definitely is dangerous, especially when you're in the water, because when you're in the water, not only are you dealing with the waves, you're dealing with possibly a sharp coral reef, you possibly could be dealing with sea life, hopefully no sharks, but you could have that, and then you're dealing with the power of the waves and a surfer flying by you on a fiberglass board that's pointed with 3 skegs, besides the other surfers in the lineup and other water photographers. So there's a lot of opportunities to get injured.
I give those guys so much credit just for only being able to swim with their legs, you know, and always trying to be in the critical spot. But if it's at pipe, you pretty much just have to set your line and hope for the best. Sometimes you'll run them over, but most of the time, you know, they're on it. They're pretty much the best guys out there.
These guys know where you're going to be. They can judge what you're going to do, and they'll adapt to your situation to make you not have to think about hitting them.
Despite the high risk and low pay, there's no shortage of those wanting to get into surf photography. But Hoffman says it takes a special breed of person.
You have to be in good shape, A. B, you gotta have some fearlessness to be able to put yourself out in that situation, because basically all you have is a pair of fins and your camera.
One thing that has improved is the technology. Bulky film cameras from the past have now been largely replaced by lighter digital cameras, and that's made it easier for photographers like me.
Do you have any tips for me when I get in the water, like something that's feasible for an amateur surf photographer?
Yes, I do. I think the best thing is to have a good set of fins. Fins is your life out in the water, because with fins they'll propel you to get in the situation to get that good image. Even if you're not the best surf photographer, if you have fins, you're set.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you right back here next time. But remember, no matter where you live, whether it's on or off the field, you can be a game changer.